Hello, bright ones. How are you all doing? Doing a quick check-in. So I thought I'd do a short video about the energies and talk a little bit about the energy for 2026. We're in a kind of we're in a process of change, of upgrade, of dissolvement, of all of us kind of rebooting ourselves, dissolving old beliefs, making way for new ones. And the energies of 2025, 26, 27 are going to be very much kind of building on top of each other. And so it's really important for us to be looking at our thoughts, our emotions, our behaviors and actions. How do we respond to things? And it's really important for us to really start having daily practices for us to be able to reset our mind, our energy, our emotions. And you know, there's no one right way about that. So whatever makes sense to you, going to yoga, do meditation, do mantra, going for a walk in the wood and praying, having a salt bath, and then sitting quietly listening to music while reflecting, doing autonomic writing, journaling. There's no one way, there's many ways, but I would really encourage people to really start to look at more ways of how to spend a bit of time by themselves each day, at least once, and how they can spend that in quality time of resetting themselves. Consciously or unconsciously, we're being pushed to go inward more. And when I say go inward, what that means is more self-reflection. That means looking at ourselves in a mirror. What are we like? What do we want to be like? Who are we meant to be? What programs and behaviors have we been set with that are out of alignment with who we are and who we want to be? And by spending time with ourselves and sitting with those beliefs, sitting with those realities about ourselves, that's how we can start to dissolve and release and rebuild. So the energy of next year is going to be pressing even harder than this year. And for those people that have done inner work, then this will take us even deeper inwardly and be kind of, we'll be looking at, you know, who are we, who do we want to be, and in this big reset we're in, how can we bring ourselves forward more? How can we bring our qualities and our gifts forward more? And I'm not talking about just spiritual ones. I'm talking about, you know, if we're really gifted in carpentry, but we're not doing that. You know, it's about that soul alignment, and it's not all about everyone becoming a healer or this or that. No, it's about, if we're here to be brilliant architects and we're not doing that, then, you know, these energies will be pushing us towards more and more looking at those aspects of ourselves and rediscovering them, bringing them forward, even if we're not even on that path yet, about kind of pushing us towards the things we're meant to be looking at and learning, even if it's for the first time. because all these things are predisposed and soul contracted before we come. And all of it is about bringing us to a place of feeling more joy, more fulfillment, more happiness and ecstasy in our everyday living. And as we start coming into that feeling and that sensation through whatever it is we're doing, that will help keep us stable, and with our daily practices will help keep us coming back into balance and harmony within, because on the outside world will become noisier, more chaotic. The end of next year is very much will be a great dissolving of. By the end of next year, there'll be a great change is starting to look like they're happening. And in that time, the media, etc., will be causing a lot of calamity and clatter to try and bring us out of this alignment. So the more and more practices we can do to help us to balance these inside emotions and thoughts and bring us back to feeling in harmony and opening our hearts, then the easier we will find these next 2 years. I'm not saying we will become masters of that. I'm not saying I've become master of that. I certainly have not felt that this morning, being triggered in a few things I've done. But it's all helping me to see where I can make those changes in my thoughts, where I do actually have the power to override those thoughts that can come up for me in certain times when my stress levels are triggered. And with these incoming energies, with the Atlas, with so many things, our nervous systems are feeling very, very wired, very, very like putting us into fight or flight or freeze quite easily if we get too much more going on. And so that's why finding practices, finding pieces of music that calm us, using back flower remedies, using herbs, going for walks, whether it's being with our families, whether it's being with our friends, it doesn't really matter what these things are, there might be many, then it just to help calm our nervous systems, to help calm our pulse level, to help calm our cortisol levels, to bring us back into a state of harmony more. So next year, any pieces of ourselves that we've still not discovered, any gifts we've not brought online, any shadows and blocks we still have, will be coming more and more up to the surface. And this will continue into 2027, although my personal feeling is 2027, if we've done a lot of the work, I feel each time we'll potentially get feeling easier and easier to come back into alignment more quickly. The outside world structures will start changing radically, and so as much as we can prepare our minds and that and nervous systems and our consciousness for that, the better we will be dealing with that. And again, the less we can put attention on that, the easier we will find that we can ride through these changes more easily. And if we find ourselves being distracted by outside noise or being sucked into particular storylines, then, you know, that will bring us out of balance. So the more kind of tools we have up our sleeve, the more things that we can find that we know helps bring us back into our own focus, into our own daily lives, then the easier that will be, that we will find we get through these periods of time. So yes, that's my feeling about these next couple of years coming. These last few months are going to be potentially energetically quite challenging also. We might find ourselves going into frustration and anger and stress quickly, but again, if we have tools up our sleeve that we know we can do, processes to help bring us back into that alignment quicker, and into a state of feeling safe again, that will really help us. So blessings, take care, and I'll be doing more updates as and when I feel more into the energies of next year. Yeah, go well. Bye.